This is huge. This is huge. I have not seen something on this scale. There's a story that popped up in my newsfeed today, and I had no other choice but to sit down and discuss this because this is something that all teachers need to hear about and know about. It is a landmark settlement that has been reached between one teacher and a school district over the use of preferred pronouns and preferred names. Now, the title of the article here is $450,000 settlement for Ohio teacher who refused to use students' pronouns. This is from The Hill, published on January 3rd, 2025. Now, $450,000. That's almost $500,000. Huge. Okay. And I have no idea why the amount is that much, but it sets a precedent and it sends a message to schools, districts, and pretty much anyone else that look, this is not something to take lightly, to play around with. And it goes back to let's actually talk about the specifics of the article and get into why this is such a big deal. Now, this goes all the way back to 2022, and there's a teacher here, Vivian Girardi. I'm not sure how you pronounce that last name, but Miss Vivian claimed in 2022 a 2022 lawsuit that her First Amendment rights were violated when she was told to resign from a middle school language arts classroom. So we're talking about First Amendment rights here. And the article goes into the specific details of what happened, but essentially I'll just give you the highlights. Now, back in 2022, this English language arts teacher had some students that were trans and they had preferred pronouns. Also, they had preferred names. They didn't want the teacher calling them by their dead names, which the article says that a dead name is a name that someone is given at birth. And so if you're trans, maybe you choose a different name for yourself and you no longer go by your government name or dead name. And the teacher refused to do that. So teacher had several meetings with the principal about the issue, tried to resolve it, discuss the matter, but basically it came down to the principal or whoever saying, look, if you want to take it this far, if this is going to be the case, you need to resign. And the teacher said, yeah, I'll go ahead and resign and file this lawsuit. Now, I believe here, based on the article, it says here, the agreement follows a ruling from the U.S. District Court for the North District of Ohio in August that said forcing Girardi to use students' preferred names amounts to compelled speech and that the school's pronoun practice was not neutral. Goes on to say the school tried to force Vivian to accept and repeat the school's viewpoint on issues that go to the foundation of morality and human identity, like what makes us male or female, by ordering her to personally participate in the social transition of our students, said Logan Spina, legal counsel for Alliance Defending Freedom, an organization that represented Girardi. The First Amendment prohibits that abuse of power, and Jackson local school district officials have learned that comes at a steep cost, Spina added. And yeah, that's basically why I said, look, this is something that needs to be out there because this is costly. And there are a lot of things, a lot of ideas I have about this. Now, I'm not here to discuss whether this is right or wrong. That's not my place in it. Everybody has their own opinions about the issue of gender identity, and I'm not going to try and sway you either way. I'm just going to tell you basically how I feel about some of these things and what this could mean for the education system. Now, like I said, $450,000. That is a lot of money. That's a huge cost. And I just noticed that I did the thing that Trump does. Lot of money. That's a lot of money. And again, this is a warning. The way that I see it, this is a warning to school districts that either you need to affirm teachers' rights, okay, which that is something that I agree with, affirming and protecting teachers' rights, or you need to craft policies, guidelines that account for these kinds of things. This needs to be something that's within a teacher contract. And honestly, I don't even know if you can do that because this relates to First Amendment rights. So whether or not a school district can put a clause in or something to exempt themselves from like this kind of persecution or this situation, to preemptively protect themselves from having to go through these kinds of lawsuits. I don't know if they can do that, but for those school districts who, are harsh on teachers like this, for things relating to whether or not teachers are willing to use a student's personal pronouns or their preferred name or whatever, you better watch out. You better watch out. And I can potentially see, based on just this being out there in the news, I can potentially see more lawsuits popping up relating to similar issues. Because I can guarantee you that this one teacher here is not the only teacher out there who has had to resign or been fired because they refused to subscribe to or ascribe to, gender politics and go by what a school has wanted them to do. So it's a warning shot, is the way that I see this in one way. Now, something else that I found really interesting here was the idea that, one of the things that was mentioned was that the teacher essentially felt, felt that she was ordered to personally participate in social transition of her students. Now, that's an interesting way to look at it, because I've heard teachers say like that they are not willing to do this, or other people don't want to call someone by their preferred pronoun because they simply don't believe in it. Like, they got certain religious beliefs or whatever, and they just don't believe in it. But this goes a step further and just makes the claim that, if you do this, if you use, people's personal pronouns, and that's kind of like against your belief system, then you're being forced to participate in that person's transition. And that's an interesting way to look at it, which I've never really seen it that way necessarily. And but hey, so just something that I thought was interesting. Now, I have some experience in this as well. Back in 2019, when I took on my very first teaching position, I was teaching 9th grade ELA, and I had a student that was trans. They were born a female, but said they were a male. And as far as I know, I don't really know, back in 2019, I never heard people talking about like they, them. Like that wasn't really a thing. And this student preferred to be called a he. And it wasn't really like explicitly said, I didn't get any, there were some things like I was told about this student and everything. And, I tried to respect as best I could this student's preference. But one day, it slipped. I made a mistake. All right, I made a mistake. Something happened. The student was acting up or something like that, doing something. I mean, this student was, presented some issues in the classroom that went beyond anything of that, just behavior wise. And I took the student out into the classroom, or the student was outside in the hallway. I think the student had an accommodation that allowed them cool down time. So, they went out in the hallway and, I went out to check on them or something. I can't remember exactly, but I asked another teacher to come down and, help me with the issue. And when I was talking about this person, I said, oh, well, she, blah, blah, blah. And the student goes, I'm a he, and storms off, just runs off. That was my first experience with an issue like that. It was really, really strange. But, I have tried in the past. That's the only time I've ever had a student who is identified as trans. And I've been in that kind of situation, and I tried, but I slipped up, and, the culture was a little bit different back then as well. But, so I have a little bit of experience in this, and, I didn't get in any trouble for this situation, but, it does make me, question the road forward and how I will have to respond to certain things moving forward. Now, I live in the South, okay? I live in Louisiana, and we're pretty conservative down here for the most part. And the people that I know at different schools, like my friends who live, here in Louisiana or in Texas or in Arkansas or whatever, they never talk about, such, trouble with these kinds of things where with students who are trans or, just whatever. The stuff that I see basically in Google News that's happening over in California or up in the north and stuff. I just don't see these kinds of things down here. So I'm thankful for that this is just something that I don't have to worry about. Or at least I don't think that I will have to worry about. But for teachers who are in those areas, this is something that you need to know. Okay. You need to know, and share this video. Okay, tell your teacher friends, because like I said, this is huge. This is huge. I have not seen something on this scale that relates to this issue. And given I haven't done all of my research and tried to look up every situation, I haven't seen $450,000. That's a lot of money. Okay. So anyways, those are just my thoughts on this. And I would love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and just what you think about this case. $450,000. I mean, first of all, why is it that much? I know that maybe this teacher had to resign and, missed out, probably didn't have a job for some time. So of course that's some money lost, but that's $450,000 is a lot. Why is it so much? Is it just because of, violation of rights, or what's really going on here? Let me know your thoughts on this situation, and let me know, have you seen this kind of case where you are working? If teachers had to resign over this, do you deal with, trans students? Do you work with trans students? And how do you approach those issues with them? Are you required to use personal pronouns and preferred names? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, make sure that you like this video if you like this content, and subscribe to the channel. I've been gone for a few weeks just because, hey, I'm on winter break. And winter break is about to be over, so I'm getting back into it. But I just wanted to take some time off and get back into the routine of posting videos, letting you know what's going on in the field of education. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.